Welcome to You Got Moxie, the podcast about the how of change making. I'm your host, Julianne Crommett, and we're live from the Georgia State of the Industry Summit right here at Trilith Studios. I'm joined by John Gibson, Vice President of Public Affairs and Industry Relations for the Motion Picture Association. John has been at the forefront of advocating for communities and filmmakers of all stripes to be a part of this industry, and also advocating for the industry itself.
This episode of You Got Moxie is powered by Chat with Leaders Media. From life sciences to entertainment, we turn leadership insights into high-impact media. We're proud to be the production partner for today's episode, recorded live from the Georgia State of the Industry at Trilith Studios. Find out how we can help you elevate your brand at chatwithleaders.com.
John, welcome to You Got Moxie.
Listen, this has been a long time coming. A huge fan of you, one personally, but what you built with your brand and with the podcast. So thank you for having me.
Oh my God, it's a joy. For those listening, John and I have known each other a long time.
Yes.
We won't say how many years,
right?
Just to preserve us.
We were babies.
Yeah, we were babies. We were infants,
yes.
Just out of the womb. But John, you're literally one of my favorite humans, and I cannot feel more blessed to have you.
As you are mine, so thank you.
Oh my God, Mutual Admiration Society, everybody.
Yes.
But John, we're here today at the Georgia State of the Industry Summit. MPA, who you work with on a day-to-day basis, is one of the key sponsors here, our leading sponsor. And you have been so bullish about the future of this industry, living in a whole lot of different places, including here in Georgia.
Absolutely.
I'd love if you could share with our listeners, a little bit more about your own story, but also that question of why Georgia and how it may even connect to your own story.
Well, listen, I am a native Washingtonian. For those that you don't know, not Washington State, but Washington, D.C., the nation's capital. And so, growing up in D.C. at a time where it was 85% African-American, but when I would see TV and movies about my city, and I would over-index on watching television, much to the dismay of my mom and pops. But going to movies for inspirational, and they were aspirational, I just didn't see my community.
Right.
And so, just moving through like the arena of politics, because if you're in Washington, you're kind of like bred for it. Working for a U.S. Senator from California, Barbara Boxer, then a Clinton Gore administration political appointee, doing civil rights work there, and at a couple of law firms doing corporate diversity and public policy, and then having the opportunity to work at the MPA. I thought, how could this trade association help this industry on a very public-facing issue, and that was inclusivity.
Right.
It really is ensuring that this global audience that supports this global industry, that there's a place for people that support the industry. It's a business case. And
100%.
We look at what the major studies, and you know them well, UCLA, USC, McKinsey, Nielsen, San Diego State, they all talk about which audiences really drive the domestic box office. And globally, it's, the Black and global majority.
That's right.
And so again, it's just, my day-to-day is just making sure that the workforce looks like the global audience.
Amazing. And, John, and anybody who listens to this podcast knows I could not agree with you more.
Yeah.
And look, the data is irrefutable. Being Latin, I feel really deeply about this as well.
Absolutely.
A community that is incredibly underrepresented when it comes to media and entertainment.
Yes.
Sitting at about 5%, no matter how you slice it, in front of or behind the camera.
And if you talk about the population of LA County, 50%.
Hello, we don't even have to begin that.
Yeah.
Look, if you talk about the spending power and the size of the Latin community in the U.S. alone, we're one of the largest, essentially Latin American countries.
Yes, absolutely.
And a lot of folks just don't think about it that way. In the not too distant future, we're recording right now in 2025. In the not too distant future, Latinos will make up 1 in 4 people.
Yes.
In the United States.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And our average age is under the age of 31, right? So we are 10 years younger on the whole than any other demographic in the United States. Yeah. And I couldn't say more about that opportunity. When you think about even the future, like what we're talking about today here at the State of the Industry, the future of media and entertainment. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
And while we're here in Georgia, Georgia is such an incredibly important state to the global industry ecosystem.
That's right.
So it's just good business that we are here, that we partner with Trilith, with Collective Moxie and others to present an opportunity for creatives to be seen, to be heard, to be connected.
That's right.
To feel validated and to be inspired. So that's why Georgia, I always say, but why not? Why not?
Why not?
Yeah, it just makes good. It's just a good business reason to be here, but also just on a personal level. I mean, the state just offers so much creativity and vitality throughout the entire state. And so again, I've been coming to Georgia for decades, even beyond the NPA in previous roles. So it just made good sense to be here to support what my colleague on the ground, what he does, and also what our partners do.
100%. And, and I think what's also really interesting is a theme that's coming out of today.
Yeah.
As we're here at the conference, and certainly from all the conversations, is around community. Community is key, especially in times of great change, and we're going through a lot of it right now.
Absolutely.
Right. And events like this and really bringing people together from all different backgrounds, walks of life, intersections, even within the same sector.
Absolutely.
Can create huge innovation. Yeah.
Listen, this industry is so massive. So in the U.S., 2.4 million people every day get up to work in this industry. It is going to take a truly wraparound approach to get to the point where everyone feels seen, feels valued. Yes. Again, going back to, I want to know, do I have a place in this industry? And yes, and if there's certain communities and segments that are supporting it, absolutely, there should be paths for them to be successful, and not just in the industry, but successful where they can navigate it and have long, thriving careers.
That's exactly right. And the other thing, too, is that we can keep changing the infrastructure to support the changing of how we make content, how we consume it. Like, what does that mean?
Absolutely.
And it needs to include all of us at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
Because that's just good. Good
and
business,
to embrace
good thing.
it. And just embrace it early. Listen, the industry is changing.
Yeah.
But do you wait and get left behind, or do you just be a part of the forefront of leading that charge?
100%.
And sometimes it puts you in very uncomfortable waters, but you can navigate them.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And I think also something, and just kind of riffing on this innovation and community topic is also sort of what can creators themselves do, filmmakers themselves? I know you work with a ton of different pipeline programs, a lot of different community partners, right? And I'm sitting here thinking, okay, somebody who's listening may be trying to make a pivot in their career. Maybe they've been in the industry a while.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're starting out, and right now it is tough if you are starting out, by the way, in any sector, not just in this one.
Yes.
What piece of advice or what kinds of things are you seeing that would be really useful for people to know about, for resources for people to kind of be aware of?
I think, one, putting yourself out there. I always say, to me, film festivals are just beyond going to an event and watching movies.
Yeah.
There's, sessions, there's workforce opportunities, there's the networking that you can make. You just never know what can come out of your future creative partner, your future producing team. You could meet all of these folks there.
Yeah.
And you just never know who you might be sitting beside, because a lot of times there are folks that are influential in other sectors that just love film and they just go to support. So you just never quite know, but putting yourself out there.
100%.
And, that's even when I launched the program at NPA, our inclusion program back in 2012, I started by going to a film festival, the American Black Film Festival. That was my first industry event that I went to. And from there, I met executives that you and I know and have been lifelong friends, if you will, that have fed so much into me and have helped me navigate this entire process. I met them at a film festival.
Isn't that incredible?
In a suite, by happenstance.
Yeah, and that's how all relationships are built, really. Like, you can't be really manufactured. You have to make it something that feels organic, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why it's important to come to events like the Georgia State Industry Summit, other events. When you see the opportunity, seize it. My personal philosophy is, it's always a no until you ask.
That's right.
So you have nothing to lose.
Right.
Scour social media. Find out those people that you view as mentors or that you are inspired. Research them. Follow their trajectory and also create your own, because again, we're not limited. It's a different time where you can create your own content.
Yeah.
Where you can use social platforms to kind of put yourself out there.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing's stopping you but you.
100%. One of the things is, like, makers got to make. We keep saying that, right?
Yes.
And that's the thing, is it sounds so simple, but that's actually the whole thing around it. It's really interesting. My husband, who's here, actually met a young man who apparently is a recent graduate, about to graduate from Indiana University.
Yeah.
He heard about the summit and he drove from Indiana here in order to meet people and to connect into the industry. Talk about hunger and passion. Oh,
and I don't know this young man, but I know that he's going to be successful in life because he took a leap of faith.
That's right.
To come here.
That's 100% right. That's 100%.
And that's just indicative of who he is as a person.
That's 100%. And I think what's incredible is when you show that kind of level of initiative, to your point, it shows something about who you are, of character. But I also think it's like, again, there's nothing holding you back but you, as you said.
And you have to have a hunger, because even in this industry, if someone has opened doors for you, that room that you're in, you have to sustain yourself in that room, and then you have to be able to be invited into other rooms. So there has to be a hustle and hunger inside of you to be able to navigate it, because again, opportunities just don't come to you.
That's exactly right.
And folks are watching, because every day there are lots of people that wake up that want the dream, but they don't want to do the work for it.
100%. For you, what's the number one sort of trend or thing that you're sort of picking up on in our sector that you're like, okay, somebody listening, you got to pay attention to this, or if you're not educating yourself on this, this is where the opportunity is.
So this is a John statement, not an official statement of the Motion Picture Association of Member Studios.
We got
but
that.
As an independent, embracing AI.
Say more about that.
Yeah, like the creativity of it. One of our partners, his name is Kenneth Gifford. Kenny, I'm name dropping you. He was the Newark Film Commissioner. He created the Newark International Film Festival, and he also has a streaming platform, Vault Access. Every time he speaks, he talks about embracing AI, whether it's downloading an app to be your assistant, helping you write a screenplay. Again, AI will never replace the creativity that it is within any of us. But if the technology can help you, and if it can help you be ahead of the curve, because I think sometimes when we're invited in rooms, those that invited us into rooms have gone to another room, and that door is closed.
That's right.
That's where we need to be in. So we need to kind of be ahead of it.
Yeah.
And so I think, for not just for our industry, every industry, I think this is where the world is going. So do you
100%.
wait and get left behind, or do you got to kind of embrace?
And I think this is really spot on, because part of the thing that we talk about all the time is like new technology is like any new technology, right? And so it repeats, which is that there's positives and there's negatives,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
There's bright spots and there's shadows,
Yes.
right? And part of this is that, yes, there are things that have to be worked out from an ethics standpoint and an ownership standpoint, right? From a policy perspective.
Absolutely.
That also does not also mean it's a yes and, right? It's also that tools can also unlock creativity in yourself.
Absolutely.
Also, they can create access in places that did not exist before.
Absolutely.
I mean, and that's something you and I talk about all the time.
Yes.
Like, all I'm saying is if you're a filmmaker anywhere in the world and you have access to a generative AI tool, you could potentially be creating things with just a few other people that really sing and cut through the noise. And that's huge.
It's like, listen, everything has innovated. I mean, when, frozen dinners were introduced, did it mean that folks were going to stop cooking dinners? No, folks are still cooking now more than ever, and you still can get a frozen dinner if you want.
That's correct.
Things can coexist.
That's exactly
But I think sometimes it's just the fear at the beginning of something new that, like, where is this going to lead to?
That's right.
But I think there will be enough safeguards put in place where they both can coexist.
And that's what we can hope for. And
Absolutely.
also, I think, we have another episode as part of this series, but also she was on a panel today, Christina Lee Storm, who helped create the Academy, the Television Academy AI standards. And what's incredible is that's just guiding questions. It's the idea that we also as humans have to be smarter about how we're using technology and the questions we're asking, so that we are protecting the art and the artist at the same tone as being able to expand the opportunity for art and artists.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, John, I cannot thank you enough for being with us today, both on stage and here at You Got Moxie.
Well, listen, thank you so much for having me. The work that you do to not only lead this industry into having very uncomfortable conversations, but necessary conversations. You've been leading us for a while, and I am just honored to be a friend. You are a mentor, a sounding board for all of that. So again, I revel in your success, and this is just the start of it, because I know your next chapter is going to be your greatest chapter.
Oh my
God. And I'm just happy to be along for the ride.
Oh my God, John, you're literally, if people are watching, I am going to get crying right now. But John, I cannot thank you enough.
You are the real deal.
Oh, thank you. Right back at you, my friend.
Thank you.
All right, talk soon.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks again for joining us for You Got Moxie. Continue to follow us and listen to your favorite episodes at collectivemoxie.com. That's collectivemoxie.com. We're excited to see you next time. Take care.